5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Loud Snackers episode 5, or episode 5 for those who did not take Spanish in high school.
Or failed.
Did everyone take Spanish here?
I think. I did.
I did.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have a friend who took French, and I was like, why? Like, what are you going to do with that? But he did, so it was cool.
Was Korean ever an option here in California?
No.
No.
Oh, great.
Not here. Well, not when
Chinese
I was growing
was
up.
probably.
Like, what were the standard things?
It was Spanish. I think I heard of like other languages, but in La Cañada where I grew up, there was just Spanish.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just Spanish.
Not even French?
That was Arcadia. So that was my friend's high school, Arcadia. Yeah.
That's interesting because they offered Spanish in like the podunk cornfields of Illinois.
Podunk.
Podunk.
I think Spanish is just like nationwide. Like,
Yeah.
just like the general thing
Yeah.
to offer, probably, because it makes the most sense. We're here. We're so close to.
But anyway, cinco means 5.
Yeah.
Right. For those who-
Welcome. Yay.
Yay.
All right, so
And
for our
welcome
snacks.
back, Joe.
Yes.
We've missed you. We have you live in the flesh.
Yeah, it's exciting.
How was Chicago?
I had a wonderful time. A lot of catching up. Well, I can't say a lot, but I did meet up with some people that I wanted to make sure I got in touch with, and I try to stay low key. But I ended up staying a little longer just because of the fire and all that
Yeah.
happening out here. There was an earthquake that I missed as well.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about
Yeah.
You really didn't miss too much other
No.
than California falling apart. So,
But yeah, we caught it on the camera actually. So the whole thing was moving, like our whole house was moving, and we caught it all
like
on
your security camera.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tight.
Which was pretty.
I mean, yeah, it was cool.
It was all falling apart. It was tight.
So I saw that video, and like you see the whole room shaking, and then you see this big structure right in front of the camera like collapse, and there's like a big noise because it hits the camera.
oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh shoot, what happened? So the next morning, we hurry over there, and I go in there. I'm like, what happened in here? And I go in there. It was one of the baby books that just fell over in front of the camera.
That's true. It must have looked like a massive thing if it was.
And everything else was unfallen, just completely as
That
it
baby
was.
book, though, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So what's next do we have today? What is this?
This is called korebab. It's translated into whale food.
Yeah.
It's a nice little
shapes.
snack, Korean snack.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I remember
A little
eating those
salty.
as children, as a child. And
Yeah.
it was quite the adventure.
Yeah.
That and what is that called? John, what's that? The finger,
Jangu?
jangu.
Oh, yeah.
Jangu.
Bugles.
Yeah.
But it's like
yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Those are-
They like
those are
taste
so
like
good, too.
churros.
Oh yeah, it does taste like churros.
Those are really good.
What are these?
Oh my gosh, guys.
Explain these.
I made with my whole heart snickerdoodle cookies.
I'm very excited to eat those.
Yes.
Like-
Give it a shot.
Okay. I was gonna.
Don't feel
wait.
pressured,
Yeah.
but eat it now.
There's no
Oh.
pressure, but there's only 3 and there's 4 of us, so
No,
one
wait,
person's
no.
gonna be left out,
I'm
you know what I mean?
fasting, so you guys have to eat it because I already ate my fair share today. So thank you.
Okay.
But yeah, all for you.
There's no. Okay. Yeah. The pressure was the opposite. There's pressure to
Oh, yes.
resist myself more than
Oh.
anything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Well,
try
yeah.
this.
There's an extra ingredient in there.
Yeah.
I'll give you $5 if you can guess what it is.
Am I gonna feel the effects of this ingredient in about 40 minutes?
Like an extra ingredient, as in like something that's not normally in a cookie.
I mean, it depends on who's answering the question.
I
That's
sense.
very little.
I
help.
taste cinnamon.
Okay.
I taste sugar. A tiny bit of salt to balance it out.
Those are all things.
A little bit of love.
I hear a
It's the
band
salt. Oh.
smashing
Ooh,
pumpkin.
pumpkin. Is there pumpkin?
Is it pumpkin?
It's not, but you said it already.
Cinnamon.
It's love.
Oh.
You
Oh,
guys,
is it
it's
really?
love.
Yo, I did not know that. I thought you were gonna be saying
Hey.
something else.
This
So
is good.
yeah. a
Oh
theoretical
yeah, and then
ingredient.
like an ounce of weed. So
Oh.
Is it really?
what? Just kidding.
No,
Should've
I was
waited
like-
until-
I was about to get really excited.
Should have waited until we all finished. This.
I know. One, two.
We're all just sitting there like,
Your eyes are smaller than usual.
Why are you smiling? And then, last but not least, We have these organic garlic naan crackers from Trader Joe's. Oh wait, we didn't introduce this. Spicy chakri mix. I don't know what that is.
Like just Trader Joe's Indian snacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
They're-
good.
I've had them. They're delicious.
Have you had Trader Joe's poricha? Poricha is barley
Yes.
tea.
They have it.
You
there?
had?
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's
it's pretty
legit.
It's dank.
I don't know how you would mess it up. So that's
true.
That's good though that they
Mm-hmm.
didn't. But
For the longest time, didn't they have like Trader Joe's, but they changed the name according to what the ethnic food was?
oh no, did you hear? There was a scandal about that. So
Yeah.
like,
yeah, and they
it was,
went back to Trader Joe's.
Right.
Like within the name.
I think
the
it was
name.
always like the thing. It was like Trader Jose's
Mm-hmm.
or like for the Chinese thing. I forget what it was. It was something, right? There was always some kind of.
There was a Chinese one.
because like they have
Whoa.
like orange chicken,
Trader Joe's.
something like that, right? It was always something.
The orange chicken, by the way, is delicious.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's good. They're everything that I've.
But let's say, okay, so the poricha, the barley tea, okay? So let's say it says Trader Joe's on it. Would you be offended?
I would think that's funny. Like doesn't really bother me. Like it is. Is it racist? I don't know.
Does that trigger you personally?
Not at all.
No, I mean, I
Does
know
it
some
trigger you?
people definitely
Not at
get
all.
triggered.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I know it does. So so that was a scandal, and it was a dumb scandal because the people that called them out, and I'm not 100% sure, but I heard that it was like a 17-year-old kid. Like it wasn't even like someone.
Oh, really?
It wasn't even like an organization or something like that. Because Trader Joe's has been doing this forever. It's been
Yeah.
like since they've been around. They've always done this kind of thing where they like kind of
Right.
put a name that has to do with the ethnicity, and like this kid was like, "That's racist," and they're like, "Oh shoot!" And then they
Yeah.
like took everything back.
Like nowadays, people are just looking for whatever might
Yeah.
be slightly racist. Like, that's racist. That's racist. It's kind of like,
I think he just wanted his like 15 minutes of fame.
Right.
That's
it's like that game in the car when you would drive with your family and you're like, I spy. I spy this. You got to go look for it. It's like, I spy racism. Everyone's like looking everywhere. That's exactly how it is these days. And everyone's so sensitive. And I think a part of it is they want the credit for finding that racist thing, maybe for that clout. But everyone needs to relax. Not everything is racist. And if it seems racist, maybe they just didn't know. Maybe it's ignorance. And ignorance isn't always evil.
I can't ever play I Spy ever again without feeling much guilt.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, on that wave, let me ask this. So, what gets on your nerve? What are some things that you despise or just really do not like in a person?
oh,
I only say this because this past month I've come across a lot more people that I'm used to, in this period of COVID, so I realized that
True
everybody
colors.
is very different, and everybody, it's like we're created to create drama almost, it's like, it's never same. But, on that note, I guess we can talk about that.
Well, you
do you
seem
have-
to
do
have
you
a lot
have
on your
something?
mind.
Thought you never asked. No, I was at a chiropractor while I was in Chicago, and while I was there, he was touching, everything, just giving me, certain what is it called, like adjustments, right? They were doing
Groping.
groping. What is it called when their finger is up the butt? Like no, but
A free gift.
is that a certain technique? That doesn't happen. It's like, well, I enjoyed it. No, so I was there, and out of nowhere he goes, "Hey, I don't mean to be weird, but can you give me an autograph afterwards, and can we take a picture?" And then I got super self-conscious because I'm like, oh shoot, this is very awkward because you literally squeeze all my fat, and like now I'm like all of a sudden sucking in, while I have my shirt off. But yeah, it's definitely, I think, has more to do with just like inconvenience, which is with everybody. But I think, I think for me, if I'm going to a chiropractor, I just want my bones straightened out,
just
Yeah.
adjust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a little bit of the
What if
finger.
he brought it up at the very end, like when you guys were paying? Would you be okay with that?
I see. I would like that.
See, okay,
Yeah.
see.
There's a right time for it.
Timing.
I would say
Yeah,
so.
it's
I would say so.
timing.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
timing
Because
is
at the end,
everything.
you're like, okay, you did you adjusted me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
And I
now
feel
I'm fully
happy.
clothed, and your finger's not in my
Yeah.
butthole
Yeah.
anymore, so it's
like-
fine.
Now next time I
Still
have
there.
to, whoops, next time I have to clench, I have to break a finger.
Oh my gosh, I have one. It's gossip. Okay, don't get me wrong. I've gossiped a lot and I still probably do gossip more than I should. But when people, they like actively choose, like say in our podcast, like there was a silence, right? Oh my God. Did you hear about Jen? Like it's like an active thing that was so apparent in their mind that they wanted to bring it up in front of people and put this person down when they can't even defend themselves.
Yeah.
And it's one thing when you're talking about, you know, someone who's done something horribly wrong. It's like in current news, someone who like denies the virus. Like I'm not talking about someone in particular, but like fucking Donald Trump. Sorry. And so
Don't spread rumors. Gossip.
That's awesome.
fake news. When
That's pretty good.
thank you so much. I've been working on it. If it's not so blatantly obviously bad, and it's like someone that, you know, like you all know, it's like don't gossip, because here's my true and honest reasoning. I think our minds are so capable of inventing and sharing and thinking of things so beyond like a top tier level of just gossip that like I would hate to waste someone's time putting someone else down, you know? And I'm not on my ivory tower. I swear I do gossip. I do. And like I know there's some enjoyment and entertainment to gossiping for sure. But my biggest pet peeve, again, is just when someone intentionally takes away time, like precious time, as we all know it, is just used to put down others.
Like that person is like that's what they want to do all the time. Because like there's people like that that's all they want to talk about.
Yeah.
Those kind of people.
Yeah. Also, it's just like, especially if you know that person mutually, then it's like, no, I don't want to talk bad about that person when they're not there.
So in order to stop gossiping, I think it's important to acknowledge what it is about gossiping that is so tempting to do in the first place. Because
That's a good point.
that reward is what people are searching after, and to identify it and to see what the alternative could be might be the first step, perhaps. You know,
Because it could be like, if I don't like Sam, I can just come up to you and go, hey, you know, that guy Sam, you know, and then see if you have something bad to say, then it kind of affirms things, you know, and I go, yeah, like it makes me feel good about me disliking somebody else.
Right.
There's some sort of motive behind that.
there's so many different like motives. Like it could be that building of camaraderie, you know, like it could also be, I just need somebody to agree with me because I feel insecure in my own certainties, you know. But it could also be like there is a certain social value with bringing news to people. If you're the bearer of news that people do not know, then you suddenly have a value in society. You have a value amongst your friend group or whatever. And even if that news might be false, if you are desperate enough to get that sort of affirmation, you might slip your tongue and say something, you know, because you'd like to get that respect subconsciously.
Right.
And so how important is it to you? How important is it to get the respect of people just from you saying some sort of news, whether it be true or false,
Right.
you know? And I don't think it's very important. I think if affirmation and attention is so important to you, it's definitely better to go a different route. There's many different routes to get the same value, you know?
Yeah.
But playing around with possibly fake facts,
Yeah.
you know, is going to be damaging to
Rumors.
yourself for sure, but also damaging to those around you.
I love that.
I find it interesting that we're talking about this in time of election, because I feel like essentially that's what's going on from both sides, left and right? But not to go into all deep into politics, because I'm not that at all. But I think it's interesting how people use these different tactics, not just in their personal lives, but just in a more of a grander scale.
Oh yeah.
Macro scale.
If you guys follow politics, man, it's such a mess right now.
Messy,
I don't want to talk about it, but
Yeah.
it's such a freaking mess.
It is. But I will say one thing. There was a fly on that guy's head.
Dude, did you know someone made a Twitter handle, a Twitter account for the
Fly?
fly?
That's hilarious.
And like
And-
tens of thousands of followers.
No
Yeah.
way. Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
I think it was just 5 minutes after, and it had already 500 followers.
It's so genius. Like there's so many stupid things about the internet, but there's so many fun things about the internet.
That's
There
pure
is.
gold.
That's genius.
It's fun because it's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's like kind of innocent humor.
of course.
And
Yeah.
it's like stupid innocent humor. But it's pretty funny.
Yeah. I was actually on the plane and I was just laughing hysterically. I was watching some random movies, right? And I saw 2 movies back to back, which rarely happens because I think this trip I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna try to just catch some movies. I usually don't watch movies that much at all, really. But I saw Just Friends with Ryan
Yes.
Reynolds,
Awesome.
and then 500 Days of Summer.
Oh, that's also great.
Love.
I didn't finish that one, and I'm very curious to know how it ends. But the Just Friends, I was laughing out loud on that one. It was hilarious.
Oh my gosh, when he's fat and he's singing, when
Yes.
he's singing like "I Swear," oh my
Yeah.
god,
I swear.
So
Oh,
good.
that's good. That was so good. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What was your favorite scene?
Man, there's so many, but I feel like just some of the more awkward ones. I think when he was just trying to be someone that maybe he's not
Yeah.
to
impress her.
to show off. Yeah, it was just a overall funny movie. We're talking about humor, and I think that was just had a universal humor. It was just like something that was just funny to everybody.
Dude, Ryan Reynolds' career is one of the most interesting movie careers
Yeah, it is.
I've ever seen.
Why?
His trajectory is like really weird.
Oh.
Like he's I've never like. I mean, I watch movies. I love movies, right? And I follow how actors when you think of like the greats, like Leonardo DiCaprio. He started off small, but he did like What's Eating Gilbert Grape, which was a great role for him, and it was crazy. He worked with like Johnny Depp and stuff like that, and then he went like kind of the heartthrob route with like Titanic, and then but then he moved pretty quickly into like really serious roles, and then like really showcasing his acting.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Reynolds, he kind of did the heartthrob thing, and then he did really bad, stupid movies, and then like he's like all over the place,
Yeah.
right?
You're right.
And then like now he's like America's sweetheart again,
Yeah.
and he keeps on like it's like he can do no wrong, but then he'll screw up, but he'll get so many second chances. Like I've never seen someone that has so many. But then he's such a good-looking guy, and he's so funny. That
Exactly.
I
Those two
understand.
things. He's so likable because he's obviously good looking. Like he's like jacked, like that's
Yeah.
Oh,
you need that. But then you also have to be hilarious. Like he's like really funny.
Yeah, he has
Him
the
and
package.
his wife have
Yeah.
like a great humorous relationship. They like to
Yes.
show
Oh,
on
Blake.
Twitter and all that.
so now as adults, based on that movie, is there someone or an event that you wish you can go back to and show off yourself now, opposed to like who you were then?
I
I have a very embarrassing, and I'm about to be very vulnerable.
Yes.
But
100.
you had requested 100%
Yeah,
realness.
100.
And we're going to keep it 100. So, back in like middle school, that was when, like your social cues are totally just developing. And,
Mhm.
I had experimented with boys. And this was when I was with my friend at the time, and she was very, experimental with the guys too. And I'm not talking about sex, okay? I'm talking about just like, like making out, holding hands, me, all that stuff. So, along with that, like we were shopping for underwear and we were shopping for thongs. And so like me and my girlfriend, we like got thongs together, and oh my gosh, like these trashy thongs with like metal hearts. Like it was just so trashy. Yeah, it was just trashy.
Can you imagine going through the airport with that? Like, ding, 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 ding.
Take it down. Let's see this thing.
this was a mistake.
No, but what was a mistake was me trying to brag about it during my freaking lunch and my gym period. During gym, we had to sit down in rows, and we all had gym clothes, right? And I was like, oh my god, like gym period is my opportunity to like show off my metal thong. And
That's
like
awesome.
and I was like sitting there, and then I remember there were just like guys behind me, so I like rolled my shorts down, and I was like,
Yes.
it was so fucking embarrassing. Now I think about it. I'm sweating, literally
Oh,
sweating.
the
and I
metal
cannot-
part was in the back.
Yeah.
For some
Oh
reason,
wait,
I
you
thought.
got the metal one.
Yeah, no, but
yeah.
it was like red and like
Yeah.
it was a G string, whatever, and then like
Oh,
at
damn.
the end it was
Yeah.
like it was connected with like a stupid metal heart with his gavel.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's kind of cute.
No, but you know what?
Again,
No, but see, you're embarrassed, but I'm sure of it. The whoever like those guys that saw it are
They're
probably
like-
like, okay, this girl.
No, but
You
I
know?
thought it was something like where the heart was like the entire front part of it. So you were just going around and be like, hey, punch me in the crotch. And then they'll like hurt their hand, be like, it's metal.
Yeah.
It's like, this was weird. For so many reasons.
feel like. So yeah, that's my cringy.
Oh.
Cringy moments. That's one of the best.
Wait, yeah. Oh crap! I know I have them. I can't. Like,
Oh, we have tons
It's so
of
hard to
cringy
think of them
moments.
off the top of your because like your brain pushes them away. You know, Your
Right,
brain-
we're trying to
Mine are
raise
just
them.
Really,
yeah,
really
so I'm
there.
trying to
Yeah,
like.
absolutely.
It's hard to like bring them back up. And you know, like they always come up. Like you just randomly think of them. You're like, ugh. You kind of like get all like sweaty for like a split second, and you're just like, forget it. But,
In fourth grade, I was, so you know how like in grade school, you have 1 or 2 days out of the year where you switch seating arrangements.
Oh yeah.
And the teacher chooses for you. So it's a lottery. And of course, you have a girl that you have a crush on. But what are the chances? 1 out of like 30, 1 out of 25 or something like that for you to sit next to her, you know? Well, lo and behold, I ended up sitting next to her.
Yes.
Okay. I ended up sitting right next to her.
It's like watching a movie. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's
I was like-
happening.
So, you know, like they have the seating arrangements. They put your name on there, you know? So you're like looking around and I look over. I'm like, oh, it's me. It's me. She's like, oh, yeah. And it just so happened on that day, it could have been an amazing day. And generally it was. But for some reason, I was very, very, I really had to poo. Like I really, really had to poo. It's just one of those things where like, you know, you don't see it coming. Sometimes you kind of feel it build up, you know? You're like, oh, do I have to let it go? But then sometimes it's just like out of nowhere. It's like, surprise!
Yeah.
It gets you, right? So I'm like,
Bam.
so it's one of those things. Like this is what you do. You're sitting there, you're paying attention. All of a sudden, you start rising up in your seat. You're like, and you're rising up. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, because
Oh,
your
I know
butt cheeks
exactly
flex
what
and it
you're thinking.
rises your
Yes.
level, and then you know you're clenching. You're shutting the gates, but then the army's like trying to bust.
You have,
through,
like-
a battering ram.
You have like amazing posture all of a sudden.
Yeah. And then the teacher's like, oh, he's really attentive today, you know? So he starts calling on you more. And you're like, oh, the answer is 4. And he's like, we're doing English right now. You know? Like, but then for some reason, she felt really comfortable with me. So she like kept on joking around with me, you know? And so she would like point
Fourth
out
grade
stuff. She's like, ha
humor.
ha ha, you know, like we'd like do that. And then I just be like, ha ha ha. Like I'm like laughing and I don't even know what she's saying, but I'm just laughing with her. I'm like, I can't blow my chances with her, but I really have to take a dump right now. And then so like that happened for some reason. I don't know why I was so shy about it, but I didn't ask to just go to the bathroom. I didn't like raise my hand and, you know, like maybe if I raised my hand, something would slip out or something. So I was just like still, and I was like a statue the whole time. So what happened was like, I ended up finishing the whole day of school, getting on the school bus.
Why?
And I'm just like still on the school bus while it's like riding, you know, up and down, and I'm just clenching as hard as possible. And then as soon as I got off the bus, I just needed to walk 1 block to my house. I'm just like going, you know, like I'm sidling and just kind of like, you know, going very slowly as fast as I could. But the thing about when you really got to go, everyone knows this. When you know visibly or mentally that relief is right around the corner.
Yes.
Your bowels are like,
Yes.
it's time.
Yeah.
You know?
All freaking day.
Yeah.
Time.
It's like New Year's Eve. It's the
Yeah.
countdown. It's like 10, 9. I was like, no, I still have a whole block to go. So it's like, I'm like trying to go right now. And then I opened the door. And as I was going up to the stairs to go to the bathroom, a little nugget went, boop.
A little.
Like, boop. Boop. And then I was really disappointed because I made it. I made
you
it.
did it. You did it.
No, but there's still a little nugget.
Well,
Yeah.
as long as you didn't completely lose
Yeah.
control, I
No,
would say
but-
that was a success.
Yeah, but that's it's not it's kind of like when you're in a race and you have first place and then you like trip or something and then someone like comes ahead of you or something like that. It's like I thought I was gonna have a flawless victory,
Okay,
Yeah. okay.
but it was like a
It wasn't a
smeared
flawless
victory.
victory. You're right.
Yeah.
But then it was. I would still say it's a victory.
I got a bronze medal.
Well, let me
let's say
ask you
that.
this. Was it a clean nugget or was it like a schmear?
No, it's a smear. Always, because
that
you
is
know when
rough.
you keep it in there in the
You're
oven for
like-
that long, it's
Yeah.
overcooked.
And also,
Right.
like,
You know.
you're clenched, right? So
Yeah.
it's like.
It's not like a perfect like hard tube. It's like
Yeah.
once it's in there and you're clenching, you're like smushing, and you're like keeping it in there and it's packing. It's not ready to come out as a smooth cylindrical form.
Right.
You know, it's trying to come out and yell at you. So,
Sorry.
and this is me in 4th grade. So you know, if you're gonna judge me, judge 4th grade me. Okay.
yeah. I
not
was
this
in
guy.
the 6th grade, so.
Yeah. So,
So,
this is
I
what
was
little
like-
kids do.
I was like in college.
Wow. You shot your pants
maybe
in college?
maybe it was,
Honestly, me too. Why was I in a 4th grade class? I don't know. Farting is kind of embarrassing, like especially as a kid.
Yeah.
And then like once you're a college student and on, it's not that embarrassing. And then once you're like 40 and you're meeting with like, you know, grown ass adults and stuff and like formal gatherings and you fart, that's when it becomes the most embarrassing.
Yeah.
So there's like this middle area where you just got to get the farts out.
Yeah.
Trial and error.
Yeah, because one time we had a family dinner and then there's this like well-revered pastor that came.
Oh, God.
I don't know if you remember that.
No, I don't.
Damn, remember.
Okay, like Korean churches, like they respect the hell out of their pastors,
Oh, yeah.
right? It's like it's different, you
I'm
know.
already laughing.
Yeah, you got to have this like
I know.
you know sterling reputation,
Cringing right now.
you know, like
Oh, man.
you don't do anything wrong, you speak very properly and all that. Everyone had this grand dinner and whatever. I was a little kid at this time, but then like everyone's like laughing,
It's even better.
and then like he you know everyone's laughing ha 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 ha, and then it kind of quiets down and he goes "Brr." And then he just goes like he said it in Korean, but then he's just like it just came out. That's what he said.
Say it in Korean. though. How did-
그냥 나왔네. So everyone.
Funnier in Korean.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, it's hilarious because like everyone else still wants to be polite. What do they say? They don't say anything. They just look away and like act like it didn't happen. It was so loud. I was across the entire room and I heard it. So everyone at the dining table, it's a big table, by the way. They're just laughing at some joke, quiets down.
Oh my god.
Just came out.
Oh
So-
god.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Never saw him
That's
again.
classic.
Oh no.
okay, so we were at church, right? And like I think it was like a Christmas service or something like that, right? And like we're listening to the choirs like sing, and like the choir is like, you know, a bunch of like, you know, older men and women, they're singing stuff like that, and they're all singing like the hallelujah part, and it's just hallelujah over and over and over again, right? And there's not a farting one, but then like they were singing and they're going like hallelujah, hallelujah, right? And they kept on doing it, right? And then it's like 10 times that you do it, but then I think one guy got the timing wrong. And
Oh,
the very-
yeah.
It's 11.
and then like they stopped and then goes hallelujah.
He's mic'd up.
Yeah.
And he stopped halfway through the
Oh
hallelujah.
my god.
This is like the Christmas
Yeah.
service. It's like a
And
big
The
deal.
whole crowd is like, like
Can you imagine? He was like all confident going into
he was so into it, and then he immediately like shut himself
Yeah.
down. I was like, oh, it was the
God.
best.
You know how choir music people sing? It's not like this like
Yeah.
poppy
You
like
belt it
"Halle."
out.
It's
Yeah.
"Halle," you know?
It was the best. It was the best. It was the best thing to listen to.
But I'm more impressed by him stopping. You know, it's like literally stopping a
Just
big
go
fart.
with it.
Yeah.
Oh god, it was so.
you
That
know,
was such a funny. Oh my god,
that's impressive.
Like, whenever I think about that story, it makes me laugh. I love it.
That was a beautiful Christmas.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You probably said to the person next to him, "Do you think they noticed?" You're like, yes.
The person's like, it's fine.
Mic
Oh,
is right
no,
above
it's
your
like, I
head.
didn't even hear it.
Yeah.
I wasn't even at that service, but all I got were like snaps. It's like during Snapchat's heyday, you know? And just like got a bunch of snaps of this guy being like, "Halle."
It was.
There was a
so
lot of videos
funny.
of him. Yeah.
It was the best.
God, why is it so funny when people fuck up?
Yeah. all the time.
Best.
It's like we just want like we need that though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need the fuck
We
up.
yeah, we need that.
We need the Tourette's.
That's
We
that's
need
yeah.
But it's also important for whoever messes up to understand that everyone messes up.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's all of a sudden not as funny if the person like sees that as like the bane of their existence.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's like actually personal and it's
Yeah.
bad and you can't live that down and it's always like messing with your head. It's an issue.
Yeah, then it
But-
becomes like a mental problem. You're like,
Right.
oh god, and then you gotta like.
But just know,
address it.
nobody thinks about it.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks about you.
Yeah.
You know, we bring it
Wow.
up as a laugh sometimes, but
Yeah, I don't
We
know.
need to
I don't
just
remember
put it
who
on
that
the
was.
nobody cares about you as much as you do.
That situation was so funny though.
But we enjoy it more when the person that's like least to make the mistake actually does it.
Yeah,
We're
when
like,
you take,
yes.
when you take it gracefully and you be like, you're like, yeah, that was really stupid of me. Like then
Yeah.
it's like,
Right. Like, be a good sport about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
I almost feel this would never happen, but I almost feel like Pence would get so many followers if he started making fun of the fly. You're making fun of himself.
No, totally.
That's true.
Yeah.
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 But he's just ignoring it like it never happened. It's
Right.
like, are you kidding me? You have the most silver hair in the world, and that fly is obviously black. So it's like, what do you expect? You think people are gonna think it's confetti? Like, come on.
For like a split second, I was like, "What are you talking about the silver hair?" I was like, "Oh my god, yeah."
Videos and the memes that came out in the last 24 hours.
know.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, so be a good sport. Failure is good. Actually, I heard a really good quote today on another podcast. But the quote was by Will Smith, our dearly beloved, and it is: fail young, fail often, fail
Forward.
forward.
I'm just guessing.
Wait, that was totally it.
Oh,
no,
wow.
you didn't just guess.
I told him. Will, if you hear me out there, you're welcome.
Wow. Okay, fine. All right, I'll take it. Fail young, fail often, fail forward.
Forward.
That's a good one.
I just saw Tom Hanks' rendition of Mr.
Oh,
Rogers, like
how
on
was
the
it?
plane actually.
How was
I cried a little bit.
Oh
I have to
Shoot,
say,
I was thinking about watching that.
I cried a little bit,
But
and
I'm
it's
like,
not
just
even
friends.
It's not even like the scenes. It's not even supposed to make you cry.
Yeah.
It's just like there's something about like that, the warmth of Mr. Rogers that makes you want to cry. Like he's such a warm,
No, he's
good-hearted person.
legit. Like he's even off screen. Like I've seen like clips of him like going up to children in the hospital, and it's more
He's a
people
good
like
man.
that.
He's a
We need more people
good,
like
good
that.
man.
Rip, rip.
He got criticized because he was so good. They were like, "You can't be that good.
Yeah.
You're not naturally that way."
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No.
It's sad in this world where people are good, people are funny, people are charming, and some people just find a way to twist that around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I've seen people that wanted to play guitar and sing a song for people just in the park, right? Just to brighten their day up, They'll go up to people and it's like, "Can I sing a song for you?" And then they'll flat out say, "No, it's all right. No, thank you."
Yeah.
And they're like, and I remember this person would kind of like express their disappointment, but try to stay positive and just kind of look at the camera and go, "Hey, even though when you try to bring positivity in the world, everyone's gonna try to break that, and try to push that back." And so his message was like, "I'm gonna keep going," and I think that's so hard because I think people are just generally like that. If you hold the door for somebody, most likely you're not gonna get a thank you. It's just like shoop, like straight through. But I told this to somebody. I remember I was in Korea and I was holding the door, and people just don't care if you're holding the door or not. They just go through, right? It's not part of. I don't think it's really in the culture where you say thank you and you just start holding doors and stuff. So I remember one of someone told me, "Hey, don't do that. They don't do that here, so you don't have to do that." And I was kind of disappointed, to be honest, because like I'm holding the door and no one's saying anything. And I was like, at one point I think I was like, "You're welcome," like. But then I just said, "You know what? I'm just gonna do it anyways," and maybe they couldn't do it for somebody else. It's such a Mr. Rogers like thought, and and they're like, "That's so silly." I'm like, "It is silly, but I'm gonna change the world," one door at a time. And we had a good laugh about that, but I think there's some truth to that, to some level. I feel like, because we look at the world. Yeah, I mean, like my kids, they're learning that the world is such a great, like, big, giant place, and the little things that we do, does it really impact the rest of the world? And I think we have to believe that. Otherwise, we're never going to impact the world, And I think it needs to start small, and it's not so much the how small or big it is. I don't think we should be concerned about the size of our our work or the things that we do for people. I think ultimately, like, it needs to be a habit. It needs to be part of our, I think, just idea of good, or just our way of living, and hopefully that will inspire others. Of course, it's a lot easier said than done, but I think that is something that we could all maybe take on.
I love that.
Well,
Before rules, laws, or even government, really, like before all of that, we were all existing in a place where we chose to do good or bad. Excuse me. And it was like as simple as that. And it wasn't even like, oh, well, I'm going to get in trouble for this, or like, I'm going to
I'm going to get credit for this. It was just like, I don't have a conscience. I'm just going to do it because I feel like it's nice to do.
Right thing to do.
Yeah.
But nowadays, there's, I really think people they don't do good unless they're forced to in some occasions. And a lot of that force is what we call accountability, not being anonymous, always being exposed, having that accountability. People are watching you, and because of the internet, we have infinite anonymity. It's like internet trolls. Are they really evil like that in person? Are they going to say those same things to you in person? No, because at that point you have accountability. But when they're behind their keyboards typing away, nobody can check that,
Yeah.
And that kind of goes to show that those people they're kind of venting and releasing their misery on others. Like they're not happy people, and that's kind of troubling because I kind of find that it's easy to think that like everyone wants to be happy, but that's not true. Happiness, the pursuit of happiness is not what people want. It's actually the pursuit of comfort. And they think comfort is happiness. But what if what if what is comfortable to you is misery? What if that thing that you're used to, that you built up over the years is resentment, jealousy, anger, and you've built a home made of that? Then you no longer want to become happy. You want to maintain that structure. So comfort is what everyone's after. And so how do you inspire somebody to leave that house and pursue happiness? It must be, the only way to achieve that, I feel like, is to show them how much better happiness is. Like how much more there is in this world of happiness and gratitude than the small house they built,
How do you do that?
Amen.
Amen. Bro.
So this is like a random. So from all this that you guys were talking about, there's like this exercise that I heard about. What makes a good person? Right? What makes a good person? Right? It's like, are you a good person? And there's somebody who wrote this thing like, there's one great test to see what kind of a person you are, and it's the shopping cart test.
Oh.
Do you put your shopping cart in the designated shopping cart thing? Like when you're done shopping, do you put it back? There's no rule that says that you have to, right? No one's going to look down on you if you don't, right? There's literally no this or that. But if you do it, it makes life easier for other people. You create less clutter. There is benefits to putting the shopping carts back into the great spot. So basically it is the one, like, it's a one thing where there's no benefit or consequence to actually doing the right thing. But doing the right thing only happens if like you are consciously aware and you actually go forth and do it. So like, if you do put basically it's saying like, if you put the shopping cart back, you're a good person. And if you don't, like, you may need to like check like where your like values are.
yourself.
Yeah.
Let's be 100%. You guys all do it?
I think 75, 30. 75, I put it back. 30, 25. I leave it.
You're 75% good.
Yeah. Right.
75%.
I used to not, but
Yeah.
I do now. Ever since I read
100%?
No, ever since I read that.
Really?
Oh, wow. Well,
Like
now
it used to be like 50-50.
Yeah.
Like if it was like right next to me, I was like,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
But then
Now you're just going to be like, hey, is that your cart? Let me take that.
overachieve.
Over. Make up. Compensate.
I don't like that pressure, so I just carry all my groceries.
It's like I'm not going to use carts.
I could never make that mistake.
What about you?
I think I've always done it. And I don't know why. It's just like I've always, no matter how far away it is, I'll always put, and Jen's the same way too. So it's like, we get pretty annoyed when we see cars just like laying around everywhere. But
Especially when it's in a parking spot.
In a
You're
parking
trying to
spot.
get a
That's the
car.
worst.
That's the worst.
But I actually haven't seen that as much as I have since I've been here. Like I haven't seen it as much as here. Like it's people here are more.
Conscientious.
No,
They're
Less.
selfish.
Yeah, they're
People
not
in LA
less,
are really
yeah.
selfish.
So much more passive.
Yeah, but like in Chicago, rarely do you see cars like just
Yeah.
lay next to a tree or something like that.
Oh, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
What about when you're at a grocery store and you pick up a frozen item or something that has to be refrigerated and you suddenly get to the front of the line, you don't want to lose your spot. You're like, I don't need this anymore. Do you leave your space in line to go put it back, or do you make the cashier person deal with it?
That's when you throw it to the general vicinity of where the aisle. No, I would give it to the cashier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better than like putting it in like a random aisle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my question was more so, I guess, do you make someone else do it or do you just do it?
I see.
But I don't know if that,
No, I understand.
yeah.
I don't think I've ever done that. Not because I'm a good person, just because if I'm gonna pick something out, I get it usually. So,
Yeah.
So you just
Exactly.
identify.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
want it.
I mean, if you're like, for example, if we're in like a small Korean market, then I'll put it back. It's like the whole store is 20 feet
Yeah,
by 20 feet,
right.
you know?
But if you're at like a Costco.
Yeah, if you're at like Ralph's or Costco or something, you know, then
That's very interesting because I think it's like one thought process is like, well, this is part of your job, right? They're getting paid hourly or whatever it is. And then, you know, the other side of it is like, well, we can help their lives a little easier
Right.
if we did this. It's like after you eat at a table and you collect all the dishes together for the waiter or the busboy to take it back, you know? I like to just keep it all together, and maybe that's part of my OCD, but it's just easier when they don't have to lean over and like do all this action.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just like one time
Yeah.
that they can take it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But there are people that are like, well, this is your job, so do it, you know, all
Yeah.
for the tip, you know, work for the tip kind of
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But I don't know.
It's kind of a
that's
No.
a demeaning way.
yeah. Because
Yeah,
like
for
I
This
totally
is
do
your
the same thing.
job.
I'm like I stack the dishes for them.
Yeah,
Just because
not a big deal.
I also kind of like it when I stack the dishes. For some reason, it feels like I'm accomplishing something. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
like it how it looks.
And it's also different because it is their job, but it's another thing to actually tell them that is their job.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason to
You're putting
tell
yourself
them.
above them when
Yeah.
you do that.
Yeah.
which
That's
is
true,
why-
right?
That's just
Yeah.
Like
Or
he
like-
knows that's his job.
Yeah.
He applied for that job.
Yeah.
He knows. Like why do you have to tell them that?
why do
you
you
know,
gotta be
like,
such a dick about it?
Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
be a dick.
Yeah,
yeah. So
but there are many people that are like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't my job to hold the door for you.
Yeah.
Say thank you, damn it.
There's balance after all.
Yeah.
it's like a different story because that makes me think of have you ever seen the documentary about Michael Jordan?
Save Last Dance. No, wait, no.
Save
Last-
the Last Dance?
no,
Isn't that Julia Stiles?
Yeah. It's just called
The Last Dance.
Yeah, The Last Dance.
Close.
Michael Jordan and Julia Stiles star in Save the Last Dance.
Julie Stiles said, "Oh, who's the other guy? Oh, I forget his name."
But like that's I think Michael Jordan was like yelling at his teammates like do your job. But I find that important. Like it's a game. They're playing a game and they're getting paid hundreds of thousands to millions of
Millions.
dollars. Like do your job. Yeah, I'll do my job. If my job is literally like practicing shooting a ball
Yeah.
all day, like and
You're
like
on a team too.
yeah, and you're on a team, so you're responsible for Michael Jordan too. Like if you fail, you're gonna lose a game for everyone else. That's a different thing. Do your job. I get that. You could say that. If you're angry, you could say that. Whatever. If you're saying that at a supermarket to some dude that has nothing to do with you,
Yeah.
you're just trying to demean
Oh
him.
no,
It's a
that's
different
totally.
context.
I would say that's completely different.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So like just saying do your job is not what I have a problem with necessarily. But yeah, it's the context.
Yeah, it's just
always
like,
context.
It's the idea of putting yourself above somebody instead of like this person is slacking off and like not being a part of the team. That's
Yeah.
like a completely different situation.
Right,
Like they can't be the weak link. They have to
Right.
be a
Yeah.
part of it. Yeah.
yeah.
Only as strong as your weakest link.
There is something that you wanted to talk about last week.
I did.
But we ran out of time, so
I didn't know.
we don't have a time limit. So
Right.
what is this thing that you were going to bring up?
Well, I was actually going to bring it up briefly after he mentioned the movie Just Friends, because last week's episode we had talked about, like friend zoning. How do you stay unattracted to your best friend? Is it possible? And we left off the episode with my curiosity afloat because Sam has a scenario or an experience of when perhaps you either had a best friend that you couldn't stay friends with or you did, or how did that pan out? Or
I don't know what the context was of me last week. I don't know where I was coming from, but okay. So what is the question? So has there been a situation where I've been friends with a girl and
either she pursued you or you pursued her and it was rejected or accepted or
oh yeah. Okay, so an example was like there's somebody that I was in.
Love with.
No, I was in platonic love with, I guess. We're friends. This is high school. I'm going way back here. First of many. But in high school.
Oh, look, we're out of time.
Exactly. I'm just trying to drag out the time until we have to go. But so I really like this girl. It just so happened that her best friend was this girl that really, really liked me. And so there's this triangle going on.
Legit love triangle, huh?
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I had no attraction toward this girl that liked me. It was just strictly toward her friend, her best friend, as a matter of fact.
And the best friend likes this girl. So it's... No, I'm just kidding.
Twist. But that ended up in heartbreak for multiple people, because this is the thing. I find this honorable, but also a little bit stupid how she handled it. But the girl that I liked me back, but she said no to me out of loyalty toward her friend. And I was like, yeah, but you like me and I like you. Yeah. You're just not going to let this happen? Because she's going to be sad about it. It's like... But it was almost like she's being selfish, because she's like, as long as you guys don't stay together, I'm happy. It's like, even if I can't be with Sam, as long as you guys don't stay together, I'm good.
Did she say that, though?
Well, she was clearly...
blatantly obvious.
Yeah, it's like pretty obvious that that's what the case was, because like she was upset with her and was just like trying to get assurance from her, like that she's not going to do anything, move forward. Right? Yeah, exactly. So it's like... And that type of situation, it's like... At that point, can I even still stay friends with that girl? Because I'm losing respect for her at the same time, Yeah. And so there's been a situation like that before where it's like... But I think the worst way I could have handled that was like, if I were to have dated her, and then like, I don't even like her.
Yeah.
Or I give like that type of attention where it gets like very, very confusing or whatever. And you know what? Like, if you're in high school and you have that type of stuff, I'm not going to condemn you. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone, doesn't know how to handle their own emotions and all that. So I get it, but the smoothest way of doing things is to like just cut it off or make it very clear. Like, if you're not interested, like, and I'm not beating around the bush, interested as in more than friends. If you're not interested more than friends, save everyone some trouble and make it very clear. Especially when that person is actually actively pursuing you. Then pursue or confront them and be like, hey, I think you're an awesome person, but I don't think this is going to be a good idea.
Yeah.
I have no intention of being more than friends with you. And if they get heartbroken, that's expected. That's terrible, but it's much better than later on if you were to have led them on.
Right.
And they're going to be devastated. And not only devastated, they might have like long-term effects and like long-term thoughts of what a man might be like.
Yeah.
Or like a woman might be like. Like you don't want that long-term damage.
Right.
For that person.
No, totally right.
I don't know if that is even in line with what we were talking about before, but
yeah, I think it is, because how do you like let down someone gently, but also being stern about like your intention?
Yeah.
And
at the end of the day, I don't think there is such a thing as, even though you mean for it to be gentle, rejection is never gentle. It's violent. It hurts.
Yeah.
And you're just gonna have to come to terms with the fact that you're doling out pain.
Yeah.
And people don't want to do that. They don't want to hurt people. Especially like normal, good-hearted people don't want to intentionally damage somebody else. And you almost want to blame that person for liking you, because now you're cornered into a position where you have to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
So you never asked for this. Well, too bad. It's going to be a part of your life. Like, people are going to like you. You're not going to like them back. You have to confront that.
Yeah.
And in college, just generally speaking, like, I've had a situation or two or three where like, if somebody was interested in me and I wasn't interested, this was a little overt. I would meet up with them. I'm like, hey, can you meet up right now? Because I'd hear about it and I take it very seriously. I'm like, hey, I don't like you more than a friend, blah, 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 blah. It's a little aggressive, but I think that's safer than if you were to just let it drag out.
Yeah. Wasting everyone's time.
Yeah.
Respect.
He's spick.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
I think that actually takes a long time to I mean, it's like a lesson that's developed over the years. It's not like then and there. I mean, for you, I think it was somewhat easier maybe.
Yeah.
But it's like, now that you're looking back, you've done it a couple of times. So it was like a learnt action that you had to develop over like high school and college. And for anyone going through a heartbreak,
Or going through somebody liking that you don't like back.
Yeah.
Right.
It never gets easier.
It
I would
never
say.
get- yeah.
Like to hurt somebody intentionally, knowing that you're doing that, it's not going to become easier, you know?
It's good to know.
all right, guys. Great episode 5.
Yeah.
Cinco.
Great snacks.
All
Great
right.
snacks.
Dude.
Thank
See
you.
you next time.
See you next time.
On Loud
Loud
Snackers.